Wait a minute.
Drew PH. I see it in Discord. Hey, welcome.
Hey, Drew, welcome.
And Nacho G with the proper information. Now we know it's que será será means you know, whatever happens happens, something like that, right? But I think that we all love cheese, so I like cheese better. Hey, Farmer Michelle is here. How are you? Mm, we can't hear you. Am I the only one who can't hear her?
No, can't
I
hear it
cannot
either.
hear her.
Sorry. Let's give it a sec. That's a road saying, yeah, what Pablo said. Nice. Confirmation. Vindication. So, okay. Farmer Michelle, I don't know what's going on with your audio, but I think
Maybe I could remove her and then
we
re-invite.
should
Maybe
get,
she just needs a little reset.
let's try that. So, in the meantime, welcome, guys. Welcome to the June 16th AMA. You know, we've been doing this weekly AMA since when July last year. So, as you know, we need to share what's going on with the game, with the team, with the community, answer some questions and share some news, maybe a link or two. Yeah, let's get started with our headlines. So first off is ¿Qué será? I'm just gonna say ¿Qué será from now on, man. It's a little shorter. Uh, ¿Qué será with competition and mayhem rewards updates? What's the latest with that?
Okay, I'll go over that. So last Friday we were able to get the competition rewards out within four hours. So that was good for the first time. If nothing goes wrong next week itself, in fact, going forward, you should expect your rewards on the same day when the competition ends on Friday. Apart from that, uh, we said last week that we were gonna get the achievement rewards and referral rewards out this week. So I have some news on that. We have decided that we will not be rewarding all the players that are violating our terms and conditions. And as you've seen on our leaderboards, you can find a lot of multi-accounters. In fact, by our calculations, it's 20 to 30% of the accounts at the bottom of the leaderboard that are violating our terms and conditions. So you can expect that by end of the today or maybe by Monday end of day, you will get the achievement rewards, but it will only be for the people that are following all the rules. I think that's about all I have on the rewards right now.
Got it. Thank you so much, Casera. We I mean, we've been giving a bunch of rewards to a lot of people, so that's great. We appreciate everyone coming in for May Mayhem and participating. So thank you, guys. Farmer Michelle, we have you with us. No. Okay. No, no, apparently not. In Discord, we're seeing bots are people too. I don't think that's true, but thank you, Seahorse. That's what I was saying. That's good. Don't reward the cheaters. Um, so yeah, that's like we're working on trying to remove bots and cheaters and so. Since Farmer Michelle's not here, I'm going to do the following update. Just remember, guys, we are in the process of a town burn to Gala. The end date will be September 15th, if I'm not mistaken. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So there's still some time to burn your town into Gala. Then, since Farmer Michelle's not here, I'm going to talk about the next thing, which is uh, you already know, but more rewards to more people. So what happened is that we announced throughout the week that for the current competition, the Cabernet Sauvignon competition, we are doing an extra ghost card, an uncommon ghost card. which is not tied to a leaderboard. You have to do at least one meta trade, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, so the plan there is to just um, extend the rewards to more people that are playing, that are actually playing the game, getting to a meta town that is actually selling, in this case, Cabernet Sauvignon. And we're also expecting this to extend to next week. So I see there that Quesera is adding the next next week reward,
Uh,
or is it the this week
this is
reward?
for this week itself.
Yeah, but it's so this week is not for stars, right? It's for
Oh
trades.
yes, I am so sorry. Yes, this week is not for the star. This week is if you finish the meta trades, you'll get this award. Yes, you're right.
So you're kind of leaking there because 50K stars is next week's request,
Yes,
right?
I am so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm pretty sure players will appreciate that. So
It's another Tom Holland moment. So we're gonna get to rename
Yippee!
Quesada as Tom Holland. Volkron, you can relinquish the title now.
All right.
so yeah, so Glinting's Sobines, which is what Quesera posted in Discord. This is the first uncommon ghost card that we're doing. So you're gonna do one meta trade to get it. As we mentioned before, we'll also check for bots and stuff like that. But yeah, please participate. Tell everyone, comment. We still have a little bit of time, around 24 more hours for the current competition. So you can still get that one. And next week, thanks to new Tom Holland here, what you have to do is get 50K stars for the next one. And then that next up is let's see, Ninja Surprise. I got it right this time. So Ninja Surprise, what's the latest with social media
Yeah,
campaigns?
so I think if you guys were checking out our Twitter, we have a little Gleam campaign going on. So we're going to be giving away one epic turbo pump and two rare wineries. Since this week's meta is related to wine, so we're going to be having like a little something that's related to producing wine, and pretty much the campaign has been going pretty well. In order to enter it, you have to go find the tweet that was put out on our Twitter. You have to like it, retweet it, show us a little love there. And then you also have to just be inside of the Gala Games Discord, and then also go check out our new Instagram page. So yeah, if you do all of that, you'll be able to enter still. There's still time. It's actually going to be ending in a couple of hours, so you might want to hurry up with that if you want to get your entries in. You can enter pretty much like more for each action that you complete, you get a certain amount of entries, and so far we've actually had over 3,600 entries so far. So yeah, it was pretty big traction, and we're going to be drawing winners later today, so be sure to check it out.
Wait, how many people you said?
Not people, it was entries. You can enter like technically more than once, so it's like
How
yeah,
many entries?
entries though, like how many individual people I actually wasn't able to really see, but we had like over 3,600 entries, like that people were able to complete.
That's quite a lot. That's awesome. So thank you, Ninja Surprise. That's a great job there with the Glean campaign. So yeah, Ninja Surprise is doing a great job over at social media and marketing, trying to get more people um, into the game, in the knowledge of what we're doing. So yeah, thank you so much. Let's see. Then on to some game updates. I see that Foreign Michelle is still not with us.
I'm here. Can you
Hey,
hear me?
hey, you're here. Welcome
Hooray!
back.
The mic
Nice.
finally works.
I guess.
That's great. So yeah, so this week we released. So we did a release last Friday, an hour after the competition ended, to enable the new Cabernet Sauvignon competition for you guys to test before the actual competition. So that included new ghost cards as rewards, a couple of NFT fixes, bug fixes here and there. And throughout the week, we also the fixes for the corrupted stand, proximity effects, if I'm not mistaken. We have a release lineup for right after the current competition ends to enable the next meta. I'm pretty sure that our new Tom Holland has already leaked that, maybe, but if not, you'll know soon enough. And yeah, so expect that change uh, right after the competition ends, and you'll be able to see, and prepare for the next one. What's coming next, Farmer Michelle? Now that we have you with us.
Wow, it's so awesome to finally be back here. I had to restart my phone twice just to get Twitter to let me talk. Ridiculous. Looks like we're moving on to what's coming up next. I think probably Volcron.
Well, I have some exciting updates for everybody. It's always fun to share some videos. I know it's been a while since I made one, but I have a video. I'm going to post a link in Townstar discussion right now. Give people a sec to download it. It's a little over 100 megs, and this is a demo of two. I'll describe what you're seeing here. It's a demo of the two before and after your offline play. So give people a sec to download that, and I can talk a bit about what's in there. Okay, so assuming that some people have it, if not, you're welcome to download it and look at it. And what this shows is, of course, our little splash screen, and then as you go through it, it's going to show that what I have is all these Cabernet fields set up. And they take resources that are not delivered to it yet. They take one lumber each. I've got a lumber mill. I've got an NFT grape storage. I've got a regular silo. I've got 3 mills. All 3 mills are making flour, and a couple other things, an unfinished building. And I empty in the video. I empty all the storehouses, and then I go right around the 35-ish, actually, let me check the exact, around the 45-second mark. I fast forward it 5 hours, come back into the game, and this is straight out of the game. There's no funny dev antics going on here. And then you see that all the storages are full, that two of the grape fields have been built, the windmills are still turning, storehouse has flour, everything has worked as expected. Something that you might find interesting is that you can see that I goofed up on my build, and I was generating way too much water compared to electricity or energy. Sorry. So what happened was my lumber mill wasn't able to run during those 5 hours I was offline. So it didn't, so obviously the rest of the grape fields didn't get made. So that's a pretty good test. There are a lot of other ways we could demonstrate fast forward, but I felt like this one covered, completion of events, crafting, harvesting, storage. It doesn't demonstrate the auto trade because I had 48 million or whatever, so that'll probably be something that you'll get to, obviously be something you get to experience when this goes live. So that's a big part of what we're testing now, all the completions and harvesting, the storage and the crafting, and of course the pathfinding. So you're like, well, what's pathfinding have to do with offline play? Well, if your building gets created while you're offline, if the builders are working on it, that changes the routes. So that's how pathfinding comes into play. And it's really fun to watch this. Moise and Discord saying, when? It's passed all of our QA to this point. We want to give it another
Yeah,
less.
Vulcan, when?
Yeah,
When?
win. We want to
I
give
hear
it
a lot of
less.
hedging. I hear a lot of hedging, Volcron.
Oh,
When?
okay.
When?
Absolutely next week.
Well, that's
So
exciting.
Yeah,
yeah,
Monday next week, Tuesday,
I would
Friday.
say mid to late next week. And the reason for that is that when we have our formal tests and our dev tests and all that, we're testing as people who know what's going on. But we need the chaos of regular testing, regular like day-to-day stuff to expose things. Oh boy, Discord is Oh man, I don't think you guys will be that excited.
Of
That's
course they
great.
are.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
see
just kidding.
someone asking, DeFi is asking, nice progress. So has the Godot bug been resolved? Do you have, slight update on that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I was gonna to get to that next. So, yeah, so that's passed our dev tests. It's going into QA and stage today. It has vastly improved the efficiency of our servers, which means we can scale more, which means we can lower our operating costs, which is always great. But what matters to the players, of course, is that the game's more stable and it doesn't encounter that engine bug anymore, which is great. So what we're going to be pulling together is the don't think I'm going to do a Tom Holland moment here, but the time of day stuff, fast forwarding, Godot, it's all coming into one big package, and that'll be fun. Time of day should be out sooner than that though. And then there was, if you want me to talk about stability fixes, could talk about that a bit.
Wait, do we want to talk about stability fixes? I don't think players care. I'm joking, of course. Of course, they
Okay.
want to know what's up with stability.
Oh, um, yeah. So the big one is, of course, server side. That's the thing the players can't see, and that's why it gets that, the spinning T, and there's not enough feedback and all that. So we fixed even more of those niche edge case things that were affecting some people. There was one that came in Tuesday. When a crash happens to the server, like that's a P1 for us, right? We got to fix that within the hour, basically. So we have very few crashes. Um, those have been resolved. The outstanding ones have been. The final one is going. Actually, I think it's already in QA as of last night. And yeah, it's looking good. There's been other fixes to the stars, to the reconciliation there. And and although this isn't quite stability, it's probably worth mentioning. There was some tech debt from a little bit back that was making our UI panels a bit inefficient on the client side. So those of you that are on underpowered PCs, you might see an improvement when you're navigating the store and your inventory, especially if you have lots of NFTs. So let me know in Discord if you have a positive experience with that. You should see an improved FPS on those screens as well. Yeah, and then the servers, it's like I mentioned, it's dramatically increased the number of players per server. And
Hey,
yeah.
but give me 1 second. So these stability fixes, I just wanted to give a shout out to the fast forwarding testing. Since we are fast forwarding towns at a great speed, we are able to find those issues at a greater speed too, right?
Yeah, it's so funny. So we have three ways to test the game. Play it normally, um, play it with a bunch of cheats. Actually, I guess there's four ways. Um, one of those cheats is running at like say 100x speed. So you're watching your game run, your farmers are basically teleporting, they're running so fast. That exposed one layer of issues. And then the fast forward, which is a non-visual thing, right? As you guys saw in the video, you load it later and your town is automatically fast forwarded. But the fast forwarding is so fast that it exposed even more bugs than even running your town at 100x, right? So I guess that's probably useful to talk about, like the role of fast forward in our batched updates and our nodes. So for example, the reason we want this to be efficient and not just computationally for us, but eventually this is one of our thoughts for like what we're going to push onto nodes as well as one of the first processes that we're going to run. Um, Pretty exciting to do that. And the idea would be that the towns are performing the fast forwarding in these batch processes overnight for players who like haven't touched their town in a day. Um, so that will make the computation on your nodes something valuable. You're contributing to the community, you're contributing to the ecosystem, and reducing the load on the servers themselves. So it's a win-win there. And I think it's a really good candidate for what we can do with fast forward and how it can come to nodes.
That's awesome. So what else is coming? I see there's something else. Another list?
I don't. Yeah, I don't. Do you want to talk about this one? It looks. I know SageMaker was sharing some screenshots a couple days ago in Discord. Um,
Oh, did they make it to
Oh,
Discord?
oh yeah, go ahead. Go for it, guys.
They didn't really make it to Discord. There was just there were some images of some stuff.
we're playing
Ah,
around with a unit scaling. Yeah, there's one. um, so that's one of the recent cheats we've added to the game internally. I call it a cheat. It's a test command, but um, I think the goal was to find a friendlier, to play around with the size of these units to make them a little friendlier and make them, a little more fun to play with on your screen, right?
Yeah, I'll jump in there. One of the and some people called this out early that when we made the switch to Godot, our units are smaller, and I saw that. We've been talking about it for a while. We finally got to the point of being able to say, okay, should it be, how much bigger should it be? 15%, 25%, 30%, 50%, and so we just settled on about 25%, and we'll be doing that, and that gets more in line with some of the history of these type of games that I made before in terms of character height, the building height, and not having to worry about a perfect match between the human heights in the game and the doors and things like that. So yeah, it kind of, the whole idea is make it a little easier to see your guys. Especially, I'm going to share some art updates in a minute. That's going to make sense. Another reason why we want to do it, just besides having them bigger on the game board, you'll be able to see more of their features. So I'll share that in a few minutes.
So cool. There was a question from Ed777 about fast forward in the leaderboard. Of course, everything that happens in the offline play, aka fast forward, everything from analytics to stars to everything that happens as it would normally in the game. We just batch it up, right? Um, the right now the trigger to cause a town to be fast forwarded is you just log in and you start to play. So yeah, the leaderboard will be, and this was one of the concerns from a few months ago. The leaderboard, there will be people who jump if you're offline for say 6 hours and your town is very efficient, and you're like, okay, it's on coast mode. I'm just going to come back in 6 hours and see where I am. You will see those players jump in the leaderboard. So yeah, so that's something we're thinking about, ways to make that a little more seamless in terms of like possibly when the town starts, predict how many stars they're generating per hour, possibly update the leaderboard with a tentative, like a little asterisk beside their star, meaning like this town is offline, this is what we predict they'll be at leaderboard wise. There's a few other algorithms we're looking at.
right. So, for example, I see MMEE asking, why do you go with fast forwarding a town instead of regular offline playing? I think that the answer to that is that we first needed to do this process of fast forwarding, and now that we have it and it's in QA and it's going to be out soon, we can look at ways to make that happen actually offline regularly, as Vulcan is saying. So it's a step-by-step process to get to that experience, but that's definitely the next step.
I like that question from Kel there. When competitions end and you're offline, will the leaderboard update, or will users have to log in at the end to get the update?
Yeah, that the vision is that when that competition ends, all towns that are active and eligible, your account is still in good standing, all that good stuff. If your town is still active up to the last millisecond of when the competition ends, your town will be fast forwarded. Anything that's over a minute old or a minute stale, you could say.
I've got another question that comes up. So let's say you're playing and I don't know, you leave your game running, and you come back X many hours later, and for some reason, because I know you fixed all the bugs, but just some reason, they see the town has been disconnected. They see a spinning T or something like that. Will the server keep running the game when the game gets disconnected? Or will they have to like log back in and say reconnect or something like that?
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a couple cases for that. So one is like you got disconnected because we pushed an update, and now what is loaded in your browser is no longer compatible, so you would have to refresh the page. If it's been more than a minute, your town will be fast forwarded, and you'll jump into your town, as if you had been playing it the whole time. If there was no update and there was just a network blip, like somebody turned off your Wi-Fi or whatever, or your machine reconnected for one reason or another, in that case, it does just reconnect. You don't need to refresh, and upon that reconnect, your town state gets updated.
Okay. I saw somebody talking about leaving their town running all the time, no matter what. That's cool too, right? And it'd be fun
Oh,
to see people be able to go to sleep, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if people don't want to use the offline play, there's a toggle in the settings where you can say, yeah, exactly. Kel, I was just about to address that. If you know your town is not efficient or it's not ready to run offline, go into your settings. There will be a little switch there, and you can say, don't run my town offline. So that you'll see that trim live.
DeFi fast forwarding isn't predictive. It's actually just catching up the simulation.
That's correct. Yep. We originally wanted to do a predictive route, just like you would do in an FPS where everybody's sharing the same predicted state of all the things. But the logic on that kind of diverged from just running the sim. There were a lot of edge cases, so we did do that route at first, and we found it was quicker to get this out the door with just running the sim at full speed.
Okay, so that's a very impressive showing and update on Fast Forward. So thank you so much, Volkran. Thank everybody on the dev team and the QA team for making it happen. I know it's taking a little bit of time, but we wanted to make sure that it was, it was actually gonna make your life easier, and not cause some more problems. So that's why we're being very careful with it. But it's coming very, very, very soon. So what's coming next on our agenda, Farmer Mitchell?
I think we're moving on to Q&A, if that's what we're ready for. I see one more question from MMEE asking about why somebody would not want to run fast forward. There's definitely some situations like early game where you wouldn't want to run fast forward, probably if you didn't have your gas set up yet and you were going to leave your house for 5 hours. I wouldn't suggest turning on your fast forward for those 5 hours because you'll likely run out of gas if you're not making gas yet. So situations like that are like, you're not going to be able to make enough money to let it run without you. But for most situations, you're probably going to want fast forward on. All right, let's move on to the Q&A.
Yeah. What are the questions?
The first one I got here is, when can we sell to farther destinations for more money and stars?
Oh, okay. So right now we're focusing on fast forwarding and the other things like the disconnects and stuff like that, and daily challenges and earnings, which is our next item of importance. But I do want to do a bunch of additions to competitions, right? We've talked about this before, like extend the way in which players, the town setups, for example, for competitions. Right now, they're very static because everyone gets the same town. So we want to add some variability to that. And another inclusion or something that we're looking at is other towns, right? And that goes into the strategy of saying, for example, well, you have Barter Town, which is the default, right? And but you can also have another town that it's further away and it's costlier to sell to them, but you get more out of that. Like you get more cash, you get more stars. So that's what the whoever asked this question is proposing. I really like that idea. It gives a lot of depth and strategy. So we'll look into that when we go into more changes to competitions and how they work. What's next?
Awesome. The next question I have says, "Hi team. My question is, are the fishy crafts, fish, chum, salmon, eel, etc., and the buildings like the wild fish not coming back to Townstar? And if yes, do you know when?"
Right. So we still have just a few buildings and crafts to get into the game. When we released on May 1st, we had to leave some out for because of time constraints, and since they were not meta related, that's why those didn't make the cut. Um, so we devoted our time to fixing bugs and try to get more NFTs in the game and so on. So I have no promises regarding they coming back for a meta, but I do want to have them in game the next 2 weeks or so. We have a big update coming with a bunch of new stuff soon. I don't want to leak and become the new Tom Holland, but we have a bunch of buildings coming in very soon. So right after that, I would really love to get those things that were missed into the game.
The next question I
What
have here,
else?
which we kind of already went over, is when fast forward. Though I did just see somebody again asking when fast forward, even though Volcron already talked about it.
Yeah, that's in full testing and it's looking really great. So as early as possible, it can be next week. So we're aiming for that. Dubstep is asking something to do with jewelry, perhaps. I don't know. Has that already been leaked? Come on, guys. Who's the Tom Holland in the team? Okay. So fast forward, very, very, very soon. And you can see the video that we posted. I added again, visible from in Discord. Thank you, Ninja Surprise, for the compression. So you can check out what Vulcan is experimenting with his own town. What else?
The last question I have here is when earnings.
Right. So when earnings, as we mentioned before, we've been working on stability, fast forwarding, as we just talked about, disconnects and backfixing, also integrating new NFTs or older NFT functionality. So the very next step is when earnings, right? So there are two parts of this. One is the development itself. Daily challenge is, as you know from Downstar Legacy, it's coming back pretty much in the same way. The part that we're looking at, that we're revamping, it's our tokenomics model, right? So I know that we released a live paper earlier this year. We're just reviewing that to make sure that it makes sense and that we are providing the best value to you guys. So there's the hardcore development side and also the tokenomics review. Now, when we are looking at around 4 to 5 weeks, if that all works out. I don't know if someone else wants to chime in on this.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. In terms of the tokenomics model, I'm actually working with Bitbender. You guys will know him on some deeper thinking on that. We started the original review with Ex Diablo a couple of weeks, about a month ago. And as I kind of look at it, I kept asking these questions like, hey, does this model really, really work? Does it do what we need in terms of rewarding players? And I just kept coming up short on that. So we started the initial review on that, like I said, about a month ago. And more recently, and I've got the paper open right now, a thought piece with Bitbender about what we can really do to amp it up. And I'm excited by what I'm reading. There's some cool stuff. It's too early to talk about, but it's really kind of changing up the model a lot, which I love. Makes me happy and excited, especially for players. Now, there's one thing that Pablo mentioned. There's two sides of this, right? There's the mechanical side, which is making sure that we have all the bridging working. Because remember, earning will only work with Jiri NFTs. So getting all the bridging working, we talked about that. We've got batch bridging for people that have a lot of NFTs. I know that was a question in the past. Then we've got to be able to get the code base ready, with daily challenges like Pablo had mentioned. And then on the top layer on that is to be able to get this everything dialed in with tokenomics model. Because beyond just giving out rewards in the game according to the points that you earn, we've got the whole Gala side of the equation, sure that it's all balanced and we can model out the future and have something that we believe is stable and long term. So that's all the background work going on. And I know it seems easy from the code base, just turn it on, right? but there's a lot of parts and pieces to it. It's a bit of a bigger project. I call it like an iceberg project. You can see the tip of it, but there's a lot of stuff that has to work underneath, and so all that's going on right now.
Okay, thank you so much for that context. So as a primarily a game maker, I'm still learning a lot about the tokenomics aspect. So it's great to hear Bitbender and his ideas, to learn more about what's going on, what's working, what's not working. So it's really great to see that we're applying those notions to the game. So thank you, Sage, and thank Bitbender too. So Farmer Michelle, what's coming up next?
Oh, looks like we've gotten a surprise talking about some polls that happened on Twitter.
Yeah, a little contest that way I was running. I wanted to put on a little experiment here. See, I wanted to really hear back from the community now with our new social media strategy that I've been unrolling. So, last week was uniforms. This week was wine. I've been trying to tie some of the content in to basically have more of the theme that's going on with the meta that's going on. So last week, I wanted to see which character from Townstar had the hottest drip that was going on, and we had the four candidates. It was the rancher, the cowgirl, the restaurant owner, the Italian restaurant owner, the old farmer, and the I think it was the baker, the female baker, that was that I basically had the contest between. So put it up to you guys, put it up to a vote, and the winner was the cowgirl, and second place was the farmer. So yeah, they're definitely the ones that are styling and profiling here in Townstar. And the new poll or competition, I guess like emoji poll, if you want to call it that, is related to the wine meta that's going on this week, and it's what would you pair with red wine? Would you pair it with risotto, lasagna, or shrimp pizza? And it seems like you guys really like the lasagna so far, and second place so far is a shrimp pizza. So lasagna is not getting too much love there. Pablo, what would you pair? What would
Do
you
you
pair
know?
yours with? Like if you had a nice glass of red
So
wine.
do you know why the lasagna may not be getting all the love you
Why?
think? Because players don't know how the pasta is done, right?
Yeah.
They like where did the pasta come from? So that may be why. So I'm not really a wine drinker, which is weird because I'm Chilean, right? And we have great wine. Um, but I think risotto is better. I really like that one.
Really? I actually was kind of surprised by the pizza. I mean, I could kind of see why. Maybe if you just like want to just chillax, it's just like a unwind after a tough day, and you just want something fast, and pair that bad boy with some nice shrimp pizza there. But lasagna, I guess I could kind of understand why it might not be doing so hot, but I think it would go pretty well together myself.
I agree. I
Awesome.
think if
So
I were to sit down and drink some Cabernet, I would probably be eating it with lasagna and not shrimp pizza. But I do love lasagna.
since go with white, but thank you guys. Thank you Ninja Surprise for that, and thank you everybody that participated in those um, amazing. What do you call it? Like rate my township
It's like,
characters or
yeah, like
something like
like rate my like rate my this, or just like a little like engagement poll, I guess you could call it.
that. Awesome. So speaking of, so from rate my character, rate my my lasagna. Um, we want to rate or roast something else, right, Farmer Michelle?
Yeah, we're gonna look at some players' towns now and see what we can talk about with them. I couldn't believe the response that I got from so many people who sent me screenshots of their towns after I made that announcement yesterday. I thought for sure I'd only get a couple who like actually wanted help. So many people sent me their towns. So let's take a look at a couple of them. I know most people's problems with their towns for this build for sure is balancing wood and lumber. That's definitely one of the hardest parts about a wine build in general. So let me find a couple to post from people who said that they were looking for feedback. Let's see. Let's look at this one. Copy image. See, here's one I got sent to me from somebody who was looking for some feedback. I think it looks like it's doing pretty well. If it were my town, I probably wouldn't have put all those farm tractors up there by the end and made the trees so that they were as close as possible to the lumber mills. It also feels like there's not a lot of roads that go straight to the lumber mills. I know that for sure it feels like in this Godot game that the workers walk so fast on the paved roads, and I've been using roads as often as possible just because they move so fast and they seem to path well on them. So I probably would have added more roads to there. Does anyone else in the community have any suggestions on how they would help that build do a little better?
Yeah, what do you guys think? So, Farmer Michelle posted the image of this town that a player gracefully sent to us. So yeah, let's take a look. Let us know what you guys think. Is it good, bad? What would you do better?
So the other thing I noticed is that the storehouse, which is where the wine's going to be stored, is pretty far away from the wineries. It's also pretty far from the warehouse. I try to keep my storages next to each other. So like my warehouse and my storehouse are close to each other because I know that the wineries are going to go to the storehouse to drop off the wine. And then they're going to path all the way to the warehouse to pick up an oak barrel or a wine bottle. So the closer they are to each other, the less walking the winery worker has to do. So it's much more convenient and everything works a lot faster if all your storage is in a similar location. See what else I post. I also took I took the first 12 towns that people send me and put them in one big picture. Let's post that.
Hey, so Biara there was saying more picnic benches. I don't know if you're serious or not, but yeah, we want more decorations in the game as you guys know. So pretty soon we're gonna be probably asking about, hey, send us your most beautiful town, and people can rate it and comment.
I guess I see someone also suggested using nuclear power plants. That definitely helps a lot in this build. Then you can move your trees and your grapes closer because there's less pollution, so it's not going to slow down your trees as much. Because for sure, the closer your trees are to your lumber mills, the faster everything is going to be.
The captain is saying take the water pumps away from the power plants. And I see Bulkron is really mad that the player didn't change the name of the town.
Oh, I just find it funny.
Jesse Bureau given a good suggestion about putting the workers farther back and away from where all of the crops and stuff are. I also try to keep all of my workers as far away from the crops. I have all of my workers, all of my lumberjacks, my loggers, and my farm tractors are all crammed into one corner.
Okay. But I think thank you everybody for your feedback on these towns. Thank you players who set them, so we can have them roasted. So please
Yeah,
keep
we'll do this
chiming in.
again next week.
Yeah. So what are we moving on to now?
Ooh, looks like it's leak time.
Oh, leak time. Okay, what are we leaking first?
Oh gosh, that's me, right? Okay, let me hurry up and get wait, let's talk about Silky. Hey Silky, relax. The team is working on this. We hear your frustration, but we're gonna move on since we've been literally talking about it for a long time. But let's talk about art. I'm gonna pop up some images really quick here. Let me get back to it. Gosh, you guys always catch me unaware. I knew it was coming, but I was actually really reading in to the discussion note that Bitbender sent to me. So here we go. A lot of great stuff coming. Gosh, does it take me so long to get back to this? One moment, guys. First thing is, we've mentioned the issue about characters, right? And one of the things that I want to share there is the chocolatier character. It's a little bit behind the scenes work. And remember we talked about growing the size of the characters on the game board? When you look at this character on the left there, that's the original Town Star version of the character, and we're upgrading him, adding a little extra features. And so now you can see when we talk about putting in the mouth and kind of freshening up faces, why it matters more the size of those characters on the game board. We want people to be able to see this work. It just makes them feel more alive, more fun, more cool, and all of those things. Let's go ahead and jump on to another cool bit. We've got some nice cotton plants coming in. The one on the left is proof of concept, and then we've actually got a model going, and we'll be dropping that into our test version of the game soon. And when you look at that, why am I so excited? Because wow, we've kept the try count very close and similar. And the external art team did some great jobs at optimizing that. Let me show you trees. You like trees? What's so hard about trees? Well, this
I like trees.
this image here, yeah. Here's some of the detail. So working with Gina Bobina and other folks, this is the kind of level and feedback that we're doing to try to make sure we get the trees to look as cool as we can. And so that's just a little bit behind the scenes their work, and here's kind of where we landed on that one. You guys remember Italian restaurant? Some buildings as we upgrade them for the new engine version, hey, they're cool. There's some changes, not a lot of changes, but here's the Italian restaurant. I thought it was a little bit bulky, so it's coming through in a second. And then this one, sometimes when you look at the images, like I said, restaurant, you're like, yeah, that's cool. It's very similar. It's upgraded. But when you look at the big woodshed here, I tend to like this type of transition better because it actually, man, it just really brings the building to life. And you're going to see that as it's popping up there. And heartbeat, there you go. So you really, I think going to the new engine, new art style really helps on that, makes that look cool. And then of course, the oak tree farm here. That's just another update. Let me go ahead and drop the big image we use in our art reviews into this chat here. As we're looking through all these images, I'm gonna just describe the process a little bit. We get the new art, we get the concepts, we put them on the game board with right next to the old art so we can see and compare, the difference, make sure that we're sticking with the style, but we look upgraded, making sure that really spend the time to, just kind of dial it all in there, right? And so in that big image that I just shared, you could see old versus new on a lot of things. You can see how all the art works together, and we try to keep things consistent there. Any questions or thoughts on that art out there, guys? I just don't want my game to slow down because of these arts. Yes, Moise, you and I are in the same camp. You are in the same camp. That's why we're talking about the tries all the time. Kind of like as we mentioned earlier on in the cotton, or sorry, it's the cotton fields. I know the title says Sugar Storehouse. It's just mislabeled there. But with the cotton crops there, one of the reasons I was so excited is because when you add little circular objects, if you don't model it right, you can just explode the number of tries in the game. And so what I'm working with the team to do is to keep them as close to the original as possible and even reduce some of the triangles, thus reducing the time it takes to draw them on screen. With the Godot engine update, we already got some performance boosts, and I don't just want to eat that up with a bunch of art that has a lot of polys. We want to save that for other cool, that sort of drawing performance for other cool things like time of day, lights at night, other special effects in the art. So that's all of the leaky art stuff that I have for today, guys.
I really like the way the big wood shed looks. I think that one's my favorite
Yeah.
so far today.
Came out nice,
It looks
right?
really nice.
That's one of those things when you kind of look and say, yay, all of that hard nitpicky work that we've done so far, and Gina's, probably, I don't know, hundreds of sketches to try to dial in that style there. That's where it really comes together, and you see how cool and different it looks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that update. They look really great. Thank you so much, Sage. I
I think we've got some more social media leaks up next.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit of a community slash social media leak that I wanted to just announce is that me and Michelle have actually been looking into somehow leveraging Zeely in a way to really try to engage our community members and our social media followers in a number of different ways. Just I've really seen some really awesome videos that our community has been producing, and I really love to see even more community members just get out there and just start creating Townstar content. I love seeing. The community get very engaged and active. So we're trying to come up with a way that we could look into leveraging different community platforms, and Zilly was one of them that we were looking into since it seems to have been becoming pretty popular. So not too much like right now, like we're still kind of investigating it and building it out a little bit, but be sure to be on the lookout for more updates regarding it.
Yeah, definitely. We'll have to get some stuff set up over there and maybe make an announcement sometime this week about some stuff that's going on. I think that's it for leaks, aside from talking about the next competition. The current competition is still Cabernet. This one does end tomorrow, Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. Pacific Standard Time, since we did delay it a day, so it doesn't end today. The reward for this one is the Glinting Sauvines. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word, but that's what the ghost card reward is for this one. The next one, again, is a vanilla meta, as we love to call it. No, it is not vanilla. There is not actual vanilla inside the game, so don't think that we're selling vanilla. It's just a standard value, so nothing is going to be cash boosted. Everything that is currently in the game will be at its standard value for points. Let's see. We are going to keep trade time at 20 seconds and 1 gas. We did decide to change the biome from the previously announced biome, and now there is a desert on one side instead of a forest. So it's going to be North River, East Desert, South Mountain, and West Ocean. And that Forest East biome will still have an oil seep as well. And as an added bonus, since nothing is cash boosted, we have decided to start everybody's towns with 100,000 cash instead of 20,000 cash. So congratulations on the starting town bonus for everybody. 100,000 cash should make it much easier to get going in lieu of a cash boosted item. Let's see if there's anything else to say here. The reward for that is another ghost card for different grapes, for the Pinot Noir grapes. And again, we will be giving away the uncommon version of the NFT for anybody who gets 50,000 stars in that next competition. So don't fret if you can't make top 1200. You will still get an uncommon ghost card as long as you get 50,000 stars. I think that that's all I have about the next competition.
Yeah, I added the competition card to Discord along with the text. I wanted to call it, what was it? Like anything, anywhere goes at once. You know, I love my puns with the titles, but yeah, had to shorten it. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty interesting. You're free to do whatever build you want. So thank you, Quesera and Farmer Michelle, for the ideas around that.
I
What's
know we're
coming
running
next?
short on time here.
Oh yeah, let's
Did
keep going.
Let's so we have not announced yet what the free NFT for playing in the month of June will be, but we do have that information now if anybody wants to know. Does anybody in the community want to know what it's going to be? I don't have time to wait for people's excitement. It's going to be a copper ore storage. I know that nobody has any idea what copper ore is yet, but you will find out soon. That's what that NFT is going to be. It's going to come in handy for sure. Let's see, Case or Astra, you have anything you want to say?
Yes, it will definitely come in very handy as soon as we come up with the new content, which should very likely be next week itself. Michelle, I don't think we've ever talked in detail about the new content that is coming up. How about we do that right now?
We certainly can, but we got to talk fast.
Oh, really? Okay. So yes, I'll go fast. So actually, we didn't realize how much new content we were coming up with until we went to the producer and they were like, "What the hell is this? This is way too much." But long story short, we figured out a way to get all of that in. It will just be coming over some time. You can expect a lot of new content over the next 2 to 3 months. We will be crafting a lot of jewelry, but along with that, we will be using a lot of existing stuff as well. And once in a while in the middle, we might take a detour to keep things fresh. Not everything will be coming out in the first week itself. We will be releasing those things over a few weeks. Even I expect the last few things to come out in 2 months' time. What you can expect though for the first week is a lot of new buildings, a lot of new crafts. What you can expect in the second week is a whole new mechanic that we'll be launching to the game. It should make game a lot more interesting and it will require a lot more skill to play. Apart from that, in the interest of keeping time, how about we just move on to the sale items right now, and we'll have a lot more to share next week, and we might drop in the chat during the week to share more stuff itself.
Go for it.
Got it.
So coming to the sales, ideally, I wanted to talk a little bit about our sales strategy going forward, but it seems like we don't have that much time this time. So we'll deep dive into that next time. Let me just get to what the sale items for the next weeks are going to be. We will be coming up with 2 new versions of refinery next week, a rare gasoline refinery and an epic gasoline refinery. What they will do is actually super cool. They will be able to craft gasoline directly from crude oil. That's it. I mean, that's not exactly it. Let me post all the details. The rare gasoline refinery will be able to craft it directly from the crude oil with all the details exactly the same as it currently exists, except for one thing, that it will craft it 33% slower. The Epic gasoline refinery, on the other hand, will not only craft it 33% faster than the existing refinery, it will also require 2 less energy. So in your end game, when you're able to get to that nuclear power plant, you might find yourself saving 1 more spot. I think that's. Oh yes, I have mentioned details about the supply and pricing. We'll have 1,500 supply for the rare refinery, but we'll only put 600 in store on Monday, and it will cost you $60 only. And the Epic will cost about $150, and there'll be 200 of them in store on Monday. So get excited. I think that's about all I have.
Okay, so thank you so much, Que Sera, for the information. You'll see those gasoline refineries soon in the game. So I see one question is there going to be an update happening today? The answer is no. We're preparing for a bigger update tomorrow because of the competition, the new competition, right? So tomorrow, right after the current competition ends, we'll push an update with the new NFTs, the meta changes, and bug fixes, and so on. So please be on the lookout for that. Thank you for your patience there. And the reason that we did not an update today is because we have to move the competition one day, and also because we're working hard to make sure that everything is correct for the next vanilla competition. So yeah, I think we're a little over time, so we should probably wrap up. Unless, Farmer Michelle, you've seen other big questions there?
No, I haven't seen any other pending questions.
Yeah, I see. Nobody gives an update on spinning T. Crazy Time. We did throughout the whole AMA. We talked about that. That's coming along with fast forwarding. So a bunch of disconnects issues are going to be fixed pretty soon. So well, that's it. Thank you guys. Thank you for joining us once again. We hope to see you again next Friday. And yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. So, sorry?
No, just a thanks.